Hey everybody, hope you're all having a great Thursday. I think it's been a couple of weeks since we had one, so yeah, figured we might as well just jump on. Was it computer cam? Rhyno cam full screen. There we go. Hey everybody. Um, Lots of auctions up this week, as there has been lately. Even I think a lot of people are trying to go into. I think I was supposed to put this on, wasn't I?
Oh yeah, you didn't put it
Hopefully everybody can hear me. I'm sure they could. This is a good mic. Hey, there you go. Um, but yeah, I think people are trying to beat the cold shipment. And not just the cold shipment, the crazy shipment. Not that I really shipped much this year at all. Just really preferred to sell local, but uh, I think if people are trying to beat that end of the month shipping craze, where I won't ship for any reason until sometime next year because of how crazy FedEx gets with holiday shipping. Regardless of the weather, doesn't matter. It's so crazy. I will not ship from that about week before ish, Thanksgiving till sometime next year. So after the returns and everything are settled down. So but yeah, we'll get started very shortly. I started a little bit later than I wanted to, so we missed one, but I'm still going to talk about it. I watched it end, so I know what it ended at. So we're going to talk about how you can get some crazy good deals from really crazy good breeders. So first, let's talk or look at the comments here. Heart of the Python, how are you? Macomorph, welcome. Beam Pit, how are you? And Morbid Morphs. Who made it to the live. Let's see how long I can stay before getting busy at work. I'll leave stuff on at work and just listen to it myself sometimes, even if I'm busy. Although sometimes I pause if it's not anything live. But yeah, let's go ahead and get it started here. There's a lot. Like I said, I can't go through everything, but there's a whole bunch. So let's see, full screen. What do I do here? I'm always bad at this computer cam. Here we go. This is the one we missed. So, which was unfortunate. It only ended at $40. And what a insane steal for something like this. $40. Yeah, it's not a visual clown, but that's okay, especially being in a girl, because you can get the visual aspect out of the male, and that way you're getting, all hets at least, and 50-50 odds on hitting the visual clowns. And of course, the reason I wanted to include this is because you make some really crazy things with all of these genetics right here, including, well, of course, the Pompeii. You're only missing red stripe to do that. And if you don't know what the Pompeii is, well, there you go. It's crazy how something from this to this, right? Missing the visual clown and one other gene. Just the craziness that can happen from basically two genes missing, essentially. So but yeah, that's the sort of crazy deals that you can get on some of these sometimes. So just keep an eye out. Follow some of your favorite sellers too, and then you'll get little reminders as well. Well, unfortunately, it always glitches out and says I'm not logged in. But right around here, you see these little notifications. You can always check to see when they're live and online. So, but yeah, that's the one we missed. But before we continue, of course, talk about what's going on this weekend. Hey Leviathan, how are you? Welcome. But yeah, this weekend we have our Crown Point show. Very strategically wore this shirt. Both Saturday and Sunday. I always look forward to doing that. This weekend's video is an egg cutting, right? It's a stranger clutch, isn't it?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. Well, I've already been excited about it. So, it is one of the ones I've been looking forward to most all year. It is a GHI spot nose clown het hypo boy to a stranger yellow belly het clown. That's all she is, right? Yes, that is all she is. But I think I got on a. It was like perfectly scripted on how I got the one I wanted. So, but yeah, that'll be coming out Sunday. So, of course, our Tinley stuff is all up and out now. So, In fact, Leviathan is featured in there. So they made an amazing Ultramel sunset. That is Orange Dream. I think I'm missing one. I know I'm missing one. So another genetic in there, but it is one of a kind. It is beautiful. So definitely check those out if you haven't yet already. And then last week was our Halloween special. So always have a lot of fun with those. I think it was one of our better ones actually. So actually we actually got jump scares in there. So somebody messaged me saying I should just make horror movies. A lot of that's editing from him. So, but Super Orange Dream Ultra Sun. Yes, and it is my right now favorite of all the sunset type combos that are out there. It is so gorgeous. So, in fact, I think I'm going to show it. I am. It's in one of my things up here. I'm going to show it as an example for things that you can do with ingredients that are up here. So, but yeah, the only one we missed is this one. So we'll go ahead and jump straight into it. Oh, we already talked about that one. With this Lace Pastel 100% Head Clown. I mean, it has no bids right now. Basically, I just wanted to talk about lace and what you can do with it. Obviously, looking at lace by itself, it is a very subtle morph. It kind of has some... it's what I'd call an enhancement morph, but it has some visual cues down near the belly, especially when you get it into the white lace, which is the super lace. You get a lot of popcorning right there along the belly. It's definitely seeable at that point. But let's talk about a big jump here. It's a big leap because you're obviously adding quite a bit here, but it is one of my favorite snakes to show. Oh, okay. Well, let me turn off all these. Okay, they're off. So that would be this one right here, and we have an ad. Should have figured as much. This little orange one right here, that is a Cypress Yellow Belly Spot Nose Russo Lace Clown. And Russo's another very subtle gene. It is, I actually work it. It's both a blessing and a curse because I have trouble identifying it. It can be that crazy, but, and another one that's kind of subtle in and by itself is Yellow Belly. So you have a few subtle genes here that are influencing things that when you get them into that, they become really, really big heavy hitters. So Cypress is obviously very potent, and so is Spot Nose in my opinion, but they don't look like that if you don't have the essential ingredients, the Yellow Belly, Russo, and of course what we're talking about, lace. So the definite potential of what you can do with the lace gene. There are tests for this too now. So if you ever had like a possible one or anything like that, you can send those in. Definitely recommend sending those into RGI. You can actually do so either on Morphmarket or on their page directly now. So this is a cool one just because of the cost. A good way to get in there if you are a little more on a budget, but you still want to make really cool things. Don't discount the subtle things. That's really what my point is with this. Don't discount and leave out things that you have trouble seeing at first. Look at the potential of it. I did that with the Yellow Belly a long time ago. I was just like, well, I think I can skip it, save some bucks. I didn't like underestimate it. It's not like I was trying to, say like I don't like Yellow Belly at the time, but I definitely was just trying to save a little bit and cut some corners, and now I regret it. Although that girl did end up proving het pied on top of Clown, which was nice. Now, who knows if her sister, who was Yellow Belly, would have, but at the time she was $500 more. That was a long time ago, but I kind of regret that because of the things that you can do and create these days. So definitely don't discount things because they're a little more subtle. A lot of people will not risk buying untested lace. I know I wouldn't. I understand. I definitely understand. And that's why I encourage having conversations with people, with the breeders. Obviously you do want to look at these sorts of things, but and I definitely trust a lot of people out there. But then again, there's always the thought process that they might think that it is lace because of what they can see. I think actually Steven actually covered this in a video, so I highly recommend. I think he hit it spot on kind of how that should be handled. But you know, if you want to, definitely get the animal, and if you, to use your own mind, test for lace. And if it doesn't test positive, well, you bought it that way, so then have another conversation with the breeder. You know, I think that you'll find most of us are definitely for sure willing to work with you and rectify any issues or situations. So that's kind of how I treat it, is have a conversation with them and then kind of go from there. But lace is a really cool gene. Don't sleep on it. That's my main point there. But I do understand your concerns when it comes to the lace gene. Hey, Robinson Exotic, how are you? Alrighty. Next up would be this clown het sunset girl right here. And of course, this is the building blocks of making clown sunsets. You know, it ends in an hour here at 410. That's pretty good. There is a good amount of interest though. So I unlike the one that got away here, I feel, for 40 bucks. I do not think that this will, you know, it'll still go for a good deal. I feel just the nature of the Morphmarket Auctions, I feel, but I don't think that will slip away quietly into the night, so to speak. So, oh, and I gotta show the one I got. It's actually from the same breeder that we missed, unfortunately, that I got up on live on stream last time. I gotta show that one here in a second. So, but again, it's really great to have something like this and work at a, you know, if you want to save some money, you can work the genetics against each other. So you theoretically you get a sunset het clown, and then you're ultimately guaranteed to always have double hets at minimum, and 50% chance of hitting either genetic, not the dual combo, but your chances go up, and the babies that are not visual are het for whatever visual you did not hit. However, that might be a little more expensive to get a sunset het clown male, but it, you know, those are kind of coming down, so that's not necessarily the case. If you can afford that, that's what I'd recommend. Otherwise, again, it's completely affordable to get a clown het sunset. At least in that case, you're always getting clown, and then you have about a 1 in 4th chance of getting a sunset clown at that point. So, and of course, if you do want to see a few other things with a little bit more to it, this is a spot nose double het though. So no visual here, but of course then you have the potential of hitting spot nose in that, and I think what I'm about to show you is that. Again, I'm gonna have to turn these off each time, and it's probably going to play an ad, but no. Yeah, so this is a sunset spot nose clown. So really cool, really sharp, really bright animal, and this is, you know, I like this one sunset when they get these more brighter type colors, and it definitely pushes it that way. Just clown in general does that, but the spot nose, I just absolutely love what it does to it. So spot nose and clown obviously are beautiful. Here is actually a perfect picture, just side by side, so you can kind of see the absolute difference there. Just absolutely beautiful. So hey Tom, how are you today? Going to see him Sunday. Oh, you're right. That's why you won't be at the Crown Point show this weekend. So, we'll have fun. You have to let me know what your favorite is. I'm not sure if you're allowed to take pictures. Probably, I don't know. But send me one if you do, of your favorite one. But yeah, it's just the ingredients you can get to create these world-class combos can be found on these auctions, and at a fraction of the cost of what you would normally be looking at, so that you can kind of plug these things together. You don't have to just, like I said, I say this a lot, you don't have to just get cheaper end things to kind of grow them out and start learning. You can get things that set you up for a shot at something incredibly great. So that is my recommendation if you are into that. If you wanted to work these genes, that's the other thing too, work where you're passionate, but also be realistic about costs. You know, I see a lot of people think that they're going to be rich, maybe not as much anymore, but and that's their primary goal. I don't recommend that, because your passion will burn out pretty quickly. So if your passion was just money. So some people made complete videos there. I need to borrow John. Maybe I'll lease him out. Johnny, are you willing to be leased out?
Small payment of 20,000.
Oh, that's too much. But yeah, I forgot about that. People do make full videos there, so yeah, have fun. Have fun. It'll be, I'm sure, a blast. So someday I'd like to do that myself. So, all right. Next up, talking about pieds and mahogany pieds specifically. And I do this a lot because ultimately we're going to talk about the Suma pieds, and I think that they're awesome. And there's a lot of ingredients increasingly every single week that you can use to create these amazing, amazing animals. They're my favorite of the dark pieds, kind of, so to speak, really, because rather than a panda pied, which is very high white and in some cases sadly completely white, they have a lot more going on, in my opinion. Plus they have more pattern, so, and we'll get to that in a second. But here's a female right here. There's actually quite a few of them. This is a nearly adult. I don't think it's proven, but it's basically ready. There is a proven breeder male up right here. Here's another pied that is basically to size, just a little bit smaller than the other one. All of these can be used to create something like this, and there's a lot of variability in these. This is actually much different than ones I've shown before, but the point of matters is they look paradox, right? So you'll get a lot of these stained type browns that almost look like they're like a staining, like a wood staining of some sort, but then you just get these random, like, huge black patches on them. I've seen ones where it just looks like two worlds are just colliding, and I like that. It looks almost paradoxy, but this is just what it does. That is just what Suma pieds are all about. So, hey Travis, how are you doing today? Carter, 125 gram male monsoon from Randy Bush went for 13,000 last night. I stopped bidding and let it go. That's pretty good. Actually, we're gonna show some monsoons later too. Where did I see a monsoon go for cheaper? I think it was last week. I'm not sure, but yeah, I've got some monsoons I think from him on here as well a little bit later. So
No, good thing that's already public.
what email?
Top right there.
Ours? Oh, I mean, that's fine. Email me. That's cool. Good old Chrome. Now if it just doxes me too, that'd be great. But yeah, I like I said, I love Suma pieds, and I could show you a completely different one. This looks to be an adult here, but I could show you a completely different one that would look just absolutely bonkers and out of this world as well. So someday, you know, I don't work a whole bunch in pied, of course, just like everyone I do, but someday I'd like to very much like to do the Suma projects. That's kind of where I'd like to go with it. I actually got a buddy local that's doing obsidian ones, which is the blackhead mixed into there, and they just had eggs. They moved like right before they moved. They got the clutch laid, which is great because you don't really want that while you're moving. So I can't wait to see that. I wouldn't say I'm as excited as they are, but I mean, like, if they invited me over to cut the clutch, I wouldn't turn them down. Let's just say that. So, before we get too far, actually, do you want to grab that one for me?
One?
The Mojave clone I got last week, or not last week, the week before. Second one. Thank you. Careful, it's a spicy one, I think. Oh yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Just a little bit. It's very spicy. So this is the one we went on stream last time, so wouldn't be surprised if it tried to go at me. It's very spicy, which for breeding purposes I am happy about. So it is a Mojave clown het monarch, and I really wanted a visual clown because I knew that a monarch het clown would be a little bit more. Oh, you tried to, yeah, I felt that. Trying to punk me out. You know, I wanted that to amp up my chances when all these, I have an army of double hets of monarch or het monarch het clowns here, and you know, I wanted this to amp my chances up of getting what I want. So which is of course a visual with a few extra juicy little things in there. So obviously, eventually, I'd like to get spot nose in there as well, but definitely take this guy. He is absolutely already smashing whatever I put in front of him. You're so angry. But all right, so yeah, he's already keying in on you. He's gonna go after me, I bet, when I let him go. Yeah. Otherwise, I'll keep talking. See, that's what he's so good for. I would keep talking and showing you guys just me while I talked. There we go. But yeah, that's I got them from that one from Fallen Angel Reptiles, and that was on stream last time. So if I didn't do it now, I'd forget. So all right, continuing along with this cinnamon sunset. There's a few sunsets up this week. This one's actually like I said again, a lot of this is ending in the next couple hours. So just want to see when this one ends. 12 minutes. I'm curious if it'll get any bids. So alrighty, but yeah, there's a couple of them. I'm gonna show a few more here in just a bit. But hey there, Dickie, how are you today? This one here has just a couple hours left. It is a almost looks like it's bigger. I don't think that's real grass. I don't know. But cinnamon sunsets are definitely darker, but it is definitely a way that you can get into, especially with females. If there is ever genes that you I always say this with like spider and stuff like that. There's genes that you, if you wanted to work the brighter ones, if you can find a way to get into sunset, especially with a visual one, and it's within your budget, that's not exactly a bad thing on the females, just depending on what you pair it to. Because the female, remember, isn't going to be passing that genetic code as often as the male is. But at this point, if you did get this one, you might as well get yourself a male visual. So another one here, you can kind of see the difference there between the two, how it's a little bit darker for sure, and just how much more pattern you can see in this one here. Would be just a normal sunset here, also female though. So another option you could do if you really wanted to get into the sunset project. These are some good options. But one that we really wanted to talk about, I kind of alluded to earlier, are the ingredients to a sunset ultramel. So you have a visual sunset here that is het for ultramel. It was shed tested by RGI to confirm that, in fact, from Balls and Strikes Pythons. We actually had them in some of our videos as well. Great guy there. You know, however you want to work this, probably the cheaper way, again, if you can find the ingredients, would be an ultramel het sunset, rather than a sunset het ultramel. But then you're guaranteeing again that always all the babies are at least going to be het for whatever they miss on visually. And if you're doing that, you might as well make that female have a few extra oomph ingredients into her. And just like I promised earlier, show. Oh no, dang ads. It's Christmas too. See, I had all these queued over, but I'm not thinking, and then I moved computers. So, but this is easily one of my absolute favorites that I've ever seen. These sunset ultramels are absolutely gorgeous. This one here, I think this is the one we're looking at. I'm not sure if Steven is still here, but this right here would be the Super Orange Dream Sunset Ultramel. We got to see that at the Tinley Park show as well. It is absolutely the best coloring that you can possibly get. It is so unbelievably gorgeous, and from my understanding, his luck with these continued. I think you hit more sunset ultramels. I'm not sure if they had super, orange dream or anything in there, but just look at the orange here. Just the absolute orange, the flaming that goes through the spine. If you ever get a chance to go to one of these big shows and see these animals that people are talking about on these shows, I on the YouTube and everything, I highly recommend it. It's always a joy to go to Tinley and just, when you see this animal like this on YouTube, it's another thing to see it actually in person. They are just stunning. They're absolutely stunning. So awesome. Thanks for confirming that. this is, like I said, my absolute favorite of all the sunsets that have been made as of yet. I mean, of course, I've always liked the lighter ones. Once it discovered that going in that direction was such a good avenue. So like banana sunsets. When I saw that, when I saw the lavender sunsets, rather than, you know, the cinnamons and the enchies and stuff like that, I think that really changed a lot for this project. It is absolutely gorgeous. So we hit 3 total ultra sunsets off 2 double head clutches. That is insane. You had the exact opposite luck of what I had last week in one of my clutches, but it was my first visual monarch clutch, and it was a I had a monarch to a het monarch, and I got 1 visual monarch out of that. So yeah, not the greatest luck. But I do have some double hets obviously coming up. Maybe I'm saving my luck for all of that. That's my hope. So, but that is crazy. It is just the most beautiful bright orange, and then just, I'm not sure if I can get it any better than this, but like, just look at that. Even with the belly just coming up, it's such a sherbety, beautiful orange. And then when you get up to here, just these nice flamings, just showing the contrast there. So absolutely gorgeous. So. But yeah, there is a reserve price on this after all that, and yes, it is expensive. It is expensive, but to make something like that, I mean, that's kind of where you got to go if you wanted to make something like that, and it would definitely set you up to the next level. There's no doubt about that. Again, like I said, the companion to this would be probably well, I think it would be substantially cheaper, an Ultra Melhet Sunset, I would say, and what you'd be making would be pretty legendary, no doubt, when you're talking about sunset stuff. So yeah, this, like I said, right now this is my favorite. It immediately sent me scrambling to try to work with people nearby that have sunset to try to do a project with them for my monarchs. So I will not be the first to that rodeo, I'm sure, but when it is created, that will be amazing as well. So I'm very excited for the future of all this. So alrighty, moving along from Jersey Guy Balls, would be this Clown Het Exantic VPI line, Het Desert Ghost. This is another ability, another one that can give you an ability to create something insane. It is a male here, so you would need to get yourself a female that has something along these lines. Again, it would be very ideal if you could get a visual Exantic DG Het Clown, depending on your financial situation. You know, maybe you can get a Exantic Het DG Het Clown. However you can do it, you know, that would be very cool, because what you can create out of something that looks like this is something, again, I'm gonna have to turn all these things off, but that is what eventually you can create. This is a Exantic DG Clown, and it is one of the most contrasted, just pure black and white animals. Sometimes the absence of color is ironically some of the more beautiful things out there, because it just shows the clean contrast of everything there. So we actually saw at our most recent Tinley a confusion version of this, and it has it's oh wow. If you haven't seen that, I highly recommend it. You can check it. We highlighted it in our channel. Many people highlighted it. I know Justin himself showed it off as well. So just an absolutely clean, beautiful, contrasted animal. And again, you have absolute stark whites next to just pitch blacks. Really no bleeding or anything like that. Maybe some shading on the head there, but everything else is just pure white, pure black. And that is just so stunning to me. And again, you just look at this ending in 2 hours. A lot of what we're showing off today ends pretty darn quickly, you know, this night. So that's the sort of stuff I try to turn people onto, is just try to create something cool, you know, within a budget. I see so many people just buy really anything, and there's ways you can go about creating awesomeness, and not spending an awesome amount of money. So that's what you're looking at as a chance to create here. So definitely an awesome animal there. Hashtag Monarch Sunset. Heck yeah. I want to see that. I want to see that so bad. Hey Travis, how you doing today? Also, if anybody's got questions or anything like that as we go along on anything, just spit them out. As always, do my best to answer them. All right, next up would be something that we work here, a striker fire yellow belly. We work with the striker gene here. Striker is a genetic that kind of creates a little bit more banding and such like that. You'll often hear it used in circles, people talking about it at the same time as they're talking about zebra. It's thought that it could be the same. I don't really know. I've thought about sending in, some testing for that sort of stuff. But I guess we'll have to, wait and see. But either way, it doesn't really matter. They do very, very similar things in terms of the banding and such like that. We actually created a whole slew of them over here with hypo in the mix too. Hypo GHI ones, and it's just they're absolutely wild. And it's tough to tell sometimes when you're creating stuff like this, when it's like things that there are no tests on, right? There's no tests for striker really, but there's no at least not yet. That's kind of how that works. But when you're creating all these new combos, it can be a little difficult to tell what you've got. But we've got some crazy awesome things. I'll try to grab some of it here in a little bit. There's more over here. There's one without yellow belly, and that's important there. Look at the difference. When it comes to the zebra, I know that's the case. When you have yellow belly, it makes a whole heck of a lot of difference, and it seems to be the case with striker as well, regardless of whether they're the same or not. I don't really care. I just like how they look, honestly. So, and if you haven't seen what the super striker, this is what is available online. That's really the only thing you can see. This is a super striker yellow belly, and they really do track to what the zebra looks like, the zebra yellow belly. So I don't know if they're the same. I don't really care because I just wanted to create cool things and kind of uncover things and see about all of that. I'm very much happy with what we created. So let me watch, they'll be in shed, but let me go grab some of them here real quick. One of them, all of them are eating well except for one. What is this? Striker hypo? This is what I think might be one. And is this the GHI? Yes. Don't bite me. Ah. Okay. Alright, here's a couple of them. This is the GHI Striker Pastel and a GHI or Striker Hypo. So here's a Striker Hypo. Let me get the screen bigger. At least what I believe would be one. There we go. It kind of creates those bandings and such that you see kind of on the other one there. Have to forgive the camera. Looking at upgrading it actually. And this one here I actually like a lot more. It does not have hypo in it. This would be a pastel or fire GHI striker. This one I'm pretty confident on the striker for sure. You can kind of see these crazy bandings and whatnot. So, and they're blowing out from the inside too by that GHI. So I really like the interaction. I absolutely love the interaction. I think the only way you can make it any better would be to put yellow belly actually into that, and that is something I kind of would really like to do. If this thing had hypo, I'd probably be on top of this one here. I consider it regardless, just because you're kind of putting that super striker up to up for in the play for me, and then getting that yellow belly gene that I'd really like in there. The only problem is that it also has fire, and I don't know if this one does. I should probably test it just to make sure. But if it did have fire, well, then I'd be a little bit kicked in the nether regions if I got a super fire at all that, right? So probably will have this one tested. So I really like this gene though. You know, I was a little worried I'd be less than enthused, but that was not the case. I was pretty happy with that. So especially with the way GHI worked with it. So more to come on that for sure. I'm definitely keeping some of those. I just need to, I got to figure that out because it's tough to work with stuff that doesn't have as much information out there. So, but that's kind of what you're looking at right here is stuff like that. I mean, heck, you get the two of them together, put them together, and make that super striker. And they are very, very nice. There's reserves on these. Again, no information. Sometimes you can find the reserve posted in there. I'm more of a fan myself. At least I haven't even done one yet, but I would be more of a fan of just putting it up at my reserve price. But I do think that the tool for reserve should be there for the seller should they want to use it. So again, that is what you're looking at, something like this that does these sorts of crazy things. If you want to work something that's lesser known, that, you know, that's kind of how these jeans come out of anywhere. I mean, like, people think that like lace is recent. You know, people are telling me, oh well, lace is just like, it just hit the scene in the last year or two. No, well, lace has been around for a long time. It just either hasn't been released or it hasn't really been discovered what it would work with, and that's kind of how this works. Is, you know, you kind of get things out there that are not as known, you know what I mean? And then people kind of, I don't know if they just get bored or they just want to discover something different, or they make that MVP, right? They make that snake that just goes bam, that just captures people's attention, and then they market it well, because marketing is incredibly important when it comes to getting a genetic out there and getting its popularity out there. I mean, look at the marketing behind, you know, and it helps itself when it's amazing, obviously, but look at the marketing behind like the Pompeii and such like that. When you get these cool names, and the fire to back it up, creating that superstar, you know, amongst them, and then showing the ingredients and kind of how it goes, that, you know, that is a key step to making a genetic go bonkers. It doesn't happen overnight. You know, you can sit there and talk about it all you want. I can sit here and say, hey, I think Striker's pretty cool. I think it's legit, because of what I saw, right there. But until I start showing people that doesn't mean anything, because again, just like how somebody mentioned earlier, you know, hey, I'm skeptical on certain ones with lace. I want to have them tested first. It's kind of like that. You kind of got to prove it. It's a little different scenario, but you kind of need to prove that the genetic is, you know, the MVP that it can be, what it can do for you. So looks like GHA and Striker go very well together. Well, that is definitely my opinion. So we're coming to our last few here. So again, if anybody's got any questions or anything like that, just let me know. I know this one's a little bit faster. There are a lot of animals up there. I am just getting a little bit over a cold though, so I am trying to keep the pace going so I preserve a little of my voice for this weekend when I see a lot of people. So all right, so this one here from Rice Reptiles, who is a absolutely leading quality breeder, would be this pastel triple het enhancer genetic stripe clown. And you know, again, look beyond what you see. It is not just a pastel, even though this one is pretty nice. It was actually purchased from Justin from Canova. Is a proven breeder here, but the enhancer gene is, you know, all these genetics right here is really where it's at. Something you can get a proven breeder for, you know, from a quality breeder. You know, it was bred by a quality breeder, sent to a quality breeder. I mean, it's quality. Can I say that enough? Enhancer, if you're wondering what it is it's basically Desert Ghost. I'm not sure if it was ever proven to be. So Desert Ghost is interesting. It has A, B, and C. As far as I know, that's it. I don't work Desert Ghost, believe it or not. Mostly because when I started to kind of just really get into it all, Desert Ghosts, it was booming right then, and they were really expensive, and I was just like, I know what's going to happen here. And it did. It did. And, you know, a bunch of DGs were made, and the price came down. So, are you kidding me? I did it again. Thank you. See, this is what happens with me.
How long was that going for?
Just that one. Just that one. Travis gets a promotion. I don't know what that means. There we go. All right. Again, from Rice Reptiles. Purchased from Canova, though. pastel triple het enhancer, G-stripe clown female. So proven breeder at that. So redo. And again, enhancer is something that it's very like Desert Ghost. Again, I'm not sure, but I've heard people tell me that they think it's the same as DGC. And not having worked it, I'm very ignorant in telling you all of this, but I'm just rehashing what I had heard. People think it's that because enhancer is very, very, very potent, just like they say DGC is very, very potent. A lot of times what I've heard is that really they're not the same genetic. DG A and B and C, they're not the same, but they're all allelic, right? If I could be misspeaking a little bit here. Again, I do not profess to be an expert on that, but the C, at least from what I've heard, is thought to be the more potent one, just like enhancer is very, very potent, and you can see it. I've seen that, differences between these animals, a difference between different types of desert ghosts. So take that as they will, but creating what we kind of showed earlier in these crazy combos and stuff like that can be done, albeit a little more hard to do so, but you're still creating great things when you do that. And the G-stripe clowns, if you don't know what those are called the Kiki clowns. So I'm not sure if I mean, maybe somebody has created a Kiki enhancer, or however if you want to say that, a DG as well, maybe one of those. But I think that honestly the Kiki project is pretty underrated. I think that it is pretty extraordinary. I think genetic stripe in general is pretty underrated. A lot of those stripe type animals, and I do understand, if you pull some of the pattern off there, you kind of looks like on certain things, but they do work, and they work very well in certain combinations. So again, another proven breeder from absolutely quality people. So if that is your jam, if you wanted to start working something like that, again, you start getting, get a male that you can put this up against. So when you get an enhancer, probably male, that's what I'd probably recommend doing, is a visual, and then kind of get the hets from there, or get as many visuals as you can depending on your budget. And again, just kind of working some extra genetics in there where you can. I do not know if I'd recommend, although when you get enhancer with pastel, it's not so bad. I'm not sure if I'd still recommend getting one with another pastel copy though. All right, monsoons. Promise we talk about those. And yes, they are from Randy Bush. I think there's two of them that we're going to talk about, and that is it. So this pastel monsoon, I actually prefer monsoon without the pastel, but monsoon is obviously really crazy. It creates all of these little raindrop type looks, and I've never actually confirmed if that's where it got its name from, is that it looks like a rainstorm essentially coming down on the animal. But it is the most extreme pattern that you can get on a bull python, at least in my opinion right now. Just in one gene anyways. I don't think that there's really any other way that's the only problem with monsoon, in my opinion, actually, is that I think it's so extreme that it's just color kind of that you go from there. But I have seen other ways to do it. I wasn't a big fan of the pied ones at first, but then I've seen a lot more examples that are different, and we're actually going to show something like that here in a bit. But clown, I think, is an extraordinary one too, because you get a lot of these little like dots just coming on the head. It interacts very, very well with it. And then of course colored ones. I'd like to see, the I'm not sure if I don't think the sunset monsoon has been done. The monarchs, the ultramel monsoons, something like that. These colors are where it needs to go. They are extraordinarily crazy looking animals, and the pricing has come down. It has definitely come down, and I think you'll see that here if you follow this. I mean, there will be some interest, but I think that you will see this one. I mean, we saw earlier. I did not follow that one myself, but let's see here. What did that last one, Tom, say? There we go. Male monsoon for 1,300. Who knows what this one will go for. It can really depend on the night that they end. This one ends in just under 2 days. So I've seen the same animal from the same breeder, or from arguably more known breeders, go for more from a lesser known breeder. Again, no shade at anybody, just just kind of calling it what it is in terms of just popularity, I suppose. I've seen the more popular breeders animal go for a considerable amount less just based on day. I mean, you got to think about this. You got to, if you're putting stuff up on these auctions, I have seen things go for criminally low prices depending on when they ended. Some of it you can control, some of it you can't. Don't have it end in the morning. Don't have it end at some weird time. I honestly think the best time for these to end is on the weekend. But just seeing all these following this quite so often, I think the best time is on the weekend. But something can be said. Sometimes I've seen these weekday ones go for absolutely crazy amounts as well. So just don't end it in the morning. Just don't end it in the morning. I've seen things, people, I'm not sure when you put it up if it gives you an ability to set when it ends anymore right now. But I think people aren't paying attention to that, and I've seen things go, 6 in the morning. Let's face it. We in this community are either waking up crazy early, and going to work, or we are staying up crazy late and waking up, some of us, at noon. So I wake up pretty early. My brother here, he goes to bed at like 4 a.m. What time? No, yet last night because you're preparing for the show. What is
you go to bed at 3?
Oh boy, 3 a.m. Okay, yeah, and I'm up like an hour, or no, 2.5 to 3 hours later. Regardless, you get the point. Is that's not a good time because the people are going to be at work or they're going to be asleep. So if you are putting things up on auction, it needs to end right about, well, now. That's the reason why I stream it now. So another one from Randy Bush here though would be a het monsoon, but a visual pied. Now for the while I didn't care for this. I didn't care for the visual version of it, I should say. I think I judged it based on one that I saw, and I thought it just looked kind of blotched out and that you couldn't really see the monsoon. But that kind of teaches you something there too. Don't judge by first look. There's a lot of different variability that you can see out there, and that goes including with your own projects too. So you might find 2 different variables from the same pairing sometimes even, and it might be the same genes. So this is not something I see up here too much, things like this. Again, another female here too. Males have come down in price again, like I said. Well, just in general, monsoon is, so you could probably get yourself a monsoon pied for for cheaper than it was a couple years ago. It's still going to be a little more, but if you don't have that money, you could do double het and do that. Now that male obviously would probably serve its purpose to hit the visual and then find a new home for you if you're just doing breeding and such like that. But that is still a valid thing. And what's cool about that is that if you did go head to head on the monsoon portion of it, well, there are tests now, so you could send that into RGI, and it would obviously be very well worth it to find out what ended up being monsoon. And if you did not know what that would look like, this picture's sideways, so just these are what they look like. They have a lot more contrast. What I said before was that you can't really mess with the pattern because it's already insane and crazy with all these crazy stripes and dots and everything there. But pied is one way you can do that because you're going to bring in these white blotches. And what's cool about this is that it doesn't seem to be low white or high white. It just seems to interact like a pied would. Some genes like black pastel, which you'd think, being a darker gene, would darken the snake. I mean, they're very, very high white animals. So, especially when you get the panda pied, you can literally find all white panda pieds, and that would be terrible in my opinion. So I really like them mid or to high pattern, like 75% pattern, quite frankly. I really just want the white in there myself to exist in several 2 to 3 different blotches to call out contrast to the pattern. That's my ideal pied, but everybody's got their different love to it, and that's what's so cool about pied is that they're incredibly variable, and this doesn't seem to influence that. It seems, you got one here that's maybe a little more higher white, but still lots of cool breakups and pattern there too, though. So, and then this bottom one here seems to be maybe a little more high pattern, probably more like what I kind of like and stuff like that. But you know, definitely a big old blotch of white right there. So, not sure if I could find more pictures of it though. I thought I saw one that was turned correctly. Monsoon Pied. Here's one that's pretty good. Right there. You kind of see what I mean. This is my ideal version of it. Like lots of breakups and such like that. So really cool opportunity for somebody there as well. I'm ready to see a true ghost monsoon. Yeah, I want to see more and more of what people can do with it. And now that the prices are starting to come, well, I mean, they're still high, but they're not, you know, $10,000 a pop. You will start to see that more now. And that makes sense. I mean, that's supply and demand. As you create more of an animal, I mean, obviously the demand is only so much. You know, the supply, you know, becomes more. It's going to become more competitive, and the price just adjusts naturally, as it should. That's just how markets work. So, but that is how we're gonna end it on that one. So if anybody's got any questions, go ahead and ask them now. In the meantime, again, this weekend we have our Crown Point show. I'm not sure how many people are in the area, Northwest Indiana, but it would be awesome to see you there. That one is usually a pretty busy show. In terms of its size, it's a nice size. It's you know, don't think Tinley here. It's a smaller show, but it gets a lot of traffic typically, which is nice. Lots of great people there too. I always love doing these ones. And then this weekend we have our egg cutting clutch, which I'm very, very excited about. So then our last videos, of course, you know, our Tinley videos. If you haven't checked those, we have a full walkthrough of the entire Tinley Park show. So if you weren't able to go, if you live farther away, you can basically virtually attend it, and you can skip around to go to your favorite breeders too, because we have all the aisles tagged, and we have like a document in there that you can click on, and then it just opens up to a shared document that you can see where every breeder is. It's time stamped for every single person. So there's also more in-depth looks at certain things. We have one with some interviews and such like that, one with where we're talking about our favorite top ball pythons, one with other reptiles too, because we like other reptiles. In fact, we plan to do more other reptiles. In fact, I have a clutch, which I don't sadly think is fertile this year. It is her first year though. I have a clutch of Herman's tortoise eggs in the incubator. I don't think they're fertile though. So, but I think that they work a little differently, so I am incubating regardless. They look, you know, fine, but yeah. Also, I was not prepared for that, and sadly one of them had cracked. I think I have the eggshell somewhere, sadly, but we'll see. So and then our Halloween video was last week was not that, the week before, but we're still very proud of it. So if you haven't seen it, we talk about hybrid ball pythons, which is absolutely an incredibly controversial topic, but we want to talk about it, so we did, and we made it spooky and interesting, and I really appreciate the feedback on it. It seemed to be very, very positive. I was very proud of our jump scare. I was very, very proud of our jump scare. So I know it's weird, like, who makes that? I am the only person on the planet that makes a educational scary snake video, and I wouldn't have it any other way. If it performed poorly, I don't care. But this one seemed to perform pretty darn well, so I was very, very happy. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, check it out. We're very, very proud of that. Those take a little bit longer, and it's a lot different too, because when I'm talking to you on these things, I try to be as authentic as possible. Clearly, when I'm making a semi-reptile learning / horror film, I have to act a little, which is weird. So definitely check it out if that is your jam. So but yeah, that's about it, I think. So when are we gonna get an updated rack tour? Oh boy. When it starts to get a little cooler. It's very warm in this room, and when I do this, we had been doing it in the summer, and I'm not even kidding you, I had to take breaks because the lights, we bring the lights in here and everything like that, and well, it didn't matter, it was so hot. We will do one, especially things have changed, right? That was the thing, is that did things change enough for me to do it? That sort of stuff. And then of course there is, I can talk to you all about it. Not that I don't keep these animals clean. I definitely take care of my animals. But as we go along, people they like to attack people. Negativity is very, very, it's much more easy for people to be negative than positive, sadly. And so as we're going along, if someone has made a mess, even though they're clean, we need to clean it. So all of a sudden it's cut and do that and whatnot. And that happens more than you think, because they're probably hearing things, and I don't know what it is. They just start. The last one was not fun to make. Let's just put it that way, right? That sucked. We literally took, I think, 2 breaks. One of them just sitting down, and then one of them we went to go eat and just finished it later, and it takes a bit to do.
We went to eat, we went to watch a movie.
We did. We went to go see a movie.
It was the Mario movie, I think.
It was the Mario movie. So I do want to do one. It's just all that timing and stuff like that. I mean, people would complain about that. Literally, they'd be like, "It's messy up there." Oh my gosh, it's not messy. It's a little. It's a little cluttered, but it's fine. But yeah, I do think about that, and it's in a way that's kind of how our hybrid video. I see you, Gus. I love hybrids. That's kind of what our hybrid video kind of touched on. Was also, I kind of wanted to put that out there. It's just like, people need to learn to talk to people in this community and be okay with differing opinions and stuff like that, and not be so eager to attack each other. Now, obviously, there's criticism that can be had when it's constructive, and that's okay. And it's also okay to try to help people that are doing things that might not be healthy. But there's a way to do it. I recently heard a video where I think he was just talking about a sponsor of his, but Clint Laidlaw of Clint's Reptiles said something that stuck with me: teach, don't yell. So that I think is really important that we do. It's just like, if you go to somebody and say, sorry to get up and preach here, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to my soapbox for a second. If you go to somebody and say, hey, this is going to be a really stupid example, but, I hate Old Spice. This is a stupid example. I'm using it. I hate Old Spice, and you're using Old Spice, so you're a horrible person for using Old Spice. That's. Do you think they're gonna listen to you? Versus, hey, I think I heard Old Spice could do this to you. Don't sue me, Old Spice. This is a joke. This is just a stupid pair. I think you get the point. The point of the matter is that if I come to you and I'm accusing and yelling and calling you names, you're going to shut down and say, okay, forget this guy. You're not going to listen to my advice. Whereas if I give you constructive criticism and reasons why, but I also accept why you do it the way you do it, you're going to find more people are willing to listen and maybe change in some way. Maybe they won't, and that's okay. That was a long way of doing that. Sorry, my ADHD is leaking today. So, I think the youngsters these days have a saying about haters. I don't keep up with the youngsters these days, even though I do have a youngster. All of them are now currently saying 6'7", so I could care less what they all have to say. Rhyno disappears the next day, never to be seen again. That's kind of
plot Halloween video.
Yeah, that's literally what the plots in the Halloween videos essentially were, all that stuff. So there's literally like a storyline that ever so slightly deviated, but most of the time from the first one was kind of its own thing. It was just like a teaching thingy. And then from there we were just like storyline time, and we had this goofy storyline between the two of us that went along. So honestly, I was very tempted. If you've seen the video at the very end, you know that there's a surprise, you know, there's another twist and whatnot, right? I was very, very tempted. Did I tell you this? If we found the damn owl mask, because everybody calls him Owl Man, there's no, you know, the whole joke about him wearing the owl mask and whatnot. I was very tempted to just have the elephant mask. Just would be funny, but it ruined the whole vibe of it. So, but yeah, that was like the whole thing, is just wanting to show these cool animals. And you know what? I liked it so much. We're gonna talk about more hybrids, more bull python hybrids. We're gonna talk about other reptile hybrids. I just don't know when, but we will. And heck, maybe it'll be another Halloween video. I don't know. But not promising any more Halloween videos this time, by the way. I'm not guaranteeing one next year. I think I will, but they are a lot of work. This year was way easier. It felt way better because we did not wait. We did it.
Right in it, like early September.
I know. Well, I had ideas for it way earlier.
We filmed the main content in September.
Yes, we did. We filmed it in September. So it was just way ahead of time, and we wanted to get it before Tinley, and that made the biggest difference. We had all the riding done before Tinley, but we'd filmed it after Tinley, and that was hell, because we had the Tinley videos to do. We had, you know, and that takes a lot from him, and it still takes some from me to sit down and go through all the animals and do those videos and whatnot. So, and then we'd have to hurry up and do these acted scenes, and it was just, we felt like we were spreading ourselves thin. Like between the two, just between us all in here, and we were a little, and it ended up being fine. And when I rewatched it, I was happy. But the prior year, we were both a little disappointed in it at the time. It turned out to, and I think it was good actually, rewatching it. But I still feel like I could reduce fix certain things. I mean, even with this most recent one, there's certain things I could fix, because hybrids was a very difficult thing to research and discuss and talk about in such a way that would not take people off. So yeah, so it's, but they are fun. Like I said, please, if you haven't seen it, watch it. It's got also, it's cool. It's cool topic, honestly, regardless of how you feel about hybrids. It's okay to not like hybrids, by the way. It is. I'm indifferent, as I say in the video. I'm indifferent of them. I don't think I'll work a python hybrid, although technically I do have a hybrid, but not with pythons. But it's a subspecies one. So in my Cape House snakes, well, some of them, well, obviously there are other subspecies of it. So, but not too many of it. So, and it's just the subspecies myself. But the pythons, I don't think I would, because like the one that really tempted me the most, well, some of them are too big, so it's just like, okay, that's too big for me, like the burn balls. And the blood balls, to me, I just get a blood python, which that I might do at some point. I'd really like to get one. I just like them. I think they're cool. Not sure if I'd ever work them. Maybe one clutch a year. But I think they're cool as heck. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, hybrids, like I said, are incredibly controversial. Everybody's got an opinion on it. And that's what I think is so cool about it. Have an opinion on it. Your opinion, whether positive or negative of it, is fine. It's totally valid. But just respect other people's opinions of it. It's not like people are releasing these into the wild, you know, to ruin the local population and whatnot. Or and I don't think that, especially with genetic testing these days, that you're going to find people trying to dilute or create fake genes. You'd be able to look at that and be like, this is not a ball python. So, dog's mad about something. I don't know. He's always barking though. So where do I send the Old Spice? I don't know. Maybe that'll be our next Halloween video. Old Spice suing me. Oh, my butter super pastel cinnamon paired with my pastel a few days ago. Very cool, man. Very, very cool. It's always nice when you can actually see the pairing too. I've had a few where it's just like, I don't think they're gonna go, and then all of a sudden I get eggs, and it's like, okay. And you never really know, but you have to assume if you put the two of them together that happened. That's how I actually got my hets. I did want to make this pairing, but I've told this story before. I put my monarch to my puzzle, They got other genetics in there too. Never saw a lockup. She grew super duper fast. I only put them in there for about 10 minutes each time, maybe a little more the first time, I think. And I was sitting in the room basically while that was happening, and I basically wanted her to eat. She was to size, but I just wanted her to keep eating because she was about 2 years old. And I took them out, and she ate, and then she didn't eat, and then I put them back in there, and she ate the next week. So it was like, okay, great. And then she stopped, and I was just like, okay, I'm done. I'm not going to keep doing this. And she laid eggs about a month later. So I was like, oh, okay. And now I have Het Monarch, Het Puzzle, Cinnamon stuff. So, got my SD bat eaters together now. Not gonna lie, what is not sure what it would be. There's so many hybrids. if you which one is that, Gus? If you could let me know. But yeah. Sorry, my dog was going psycho out there. Distracted me. Again, ADHD brain here. Can't wait for eggs. Yeah, if it's one of the more exciting times, no matter what it is, it doesn't matter. It's always very, very exciting because there's always that what if, right? You get something crazy happening. So, hey, Cheapstone, how are you? I think I said your name right. If I did not, I apologize. We're wrapping up here, but there will be the replay at the end here. Actually, did we ever go back on any of these? I think I missed this one. Yeah, that one ended. I don't know if anybody ever bid on. For this, it doesn't matter. Well, this one only ends in 17 minutes. I might as well put the screen back on. But I think we're gonna be off before this one ends. This is the Clown Head Sunset. It's got 17 minutes left. It was bid on just recently, so there are people there paying attention to it. This will be a battle, I feel. So that is the most recent one from what we talked about that's going to be ending the soonest anyways. So the others have all ended, which would just be a couple of them actually. A lace pastel het clown and a spot nose black pastel yellow belly het clown. But yeah, I think we're gonna call it there. Appreciate you all sticking around, listening to me ramble as always. Again, check out some of those recent Tinley videos, our Halloween video. We're really proud of all that content. It takes us a bit of time to do that. And then this week, we'll be at the Crown Point show, and we'll be releasing a really highly anticipated clutch here. And that was the Stranger Yellow Belly Het Clown to the GHI Spot Nose Clown Het Hypo. I have not had them tested obviously yet, although I did get a buzzer beater, so to speak, on those. So I guess a Super Dwarf Kalatoa male retic to a berm. Oh wow. Okay, yeah, those that's a lot of stuff going on there. So, and that's what, okay, I thought I had heard Bat Eater before, so very interesting. So hey Sarah, caught us here at the end while we're saying basically saying goodbye. I think we did start this one a little early. Sometimes we start at 7, so I apologize. I wish I could guarantee you a time, but it's going to be between 6 and 7:30 at any given time on Thursdays is when we would go live. That I can guarantee you. Not every Thursday, probably every other Thursday. But yeah, so I apologize. But with the replay, obviously, will be up here shortly after. So, Pure Passion Pythons, how's it going? Same goes. So, like I said, I did start this one a little earlier because I am just getting over a cold. I apologize. And I just wanted to make sure my voice would not die out, but at least I didn't choke half to death like I did that one stream. That was fun. All right, everybody. Hope you all enjoy and have a wonderful night. If you are bidding on anything, my best of luck to you in your bids. So have a good night and take it easy.